Show.
Hello, and welcome to Breaking Ice, Building Bridges. My name is Santiago Ramones, not Byron at the moment, and that's okay. We can still have a lot of fun. So joining me today, I'll start across from me is...
Leigh Tomlin.
And...
Oh, do I have to say my last name?
Yeah,
Melissa.
Okay,
I'm Melissa. Hi.
That's okay. You can enjoy your privacy.
True.
But we are gonna get, a little personal. We're gonna break some ice here. So, first of all, this is like the first round of our Newview peeps on Breaking Ice, Building Bridges, and we're so happy to have you here. So, first of all, Leigh, what is Newview and what is your place within it?
Wow, that's a big question. Newview is an organization that works with people who are blind and low vision. Plus, we employ folks who are blind and low vision. I believe we are the largest employer of BLV people in the state of Oklahoma. And we're at the low vision clinic, which is what I'm out of. But then we also have the manufacturing plant down on Douglas. And then just my part of Newview is that I'm the enrichment program director here. So art, music, a little bit of this and that, all that stuff. So
I actually have wondered what your title was because
for a long time, we weren't sure. And so that is my title now. So they're like, we'll figure that out. So now that's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Well, you're kind of my go-to person as far as just what's going on here in the building. And we're lucky to be in this building and get to interact with different kinds of people and have different sorts of experiences. Melissa, tell me about what you do here at Newview.
I work at the front desk, so I check people in for their appointments. I open the door for incoming guests. And yeah, I guess I'm the first face that everybody sees when they come in the building.
It's an important job too.
Yeah, and I'm also a patient of Newview as well. So I like to let people know that it's a great place and it's a place that can give people like myself who have low vision or blindness that there's hope. So
yeah, and you were a former MOVE student, and so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess it might be necessary to point out, you just said that you're low vision, but Leigh, you are not?
I am nearsighted.
Okay.
So, but I am.
You're under the umbrella.
Well, so first of all, I guess to get the perspective, what has it been like working with Newview as a patient as well as being an employee now?
It's been great. There's a lot of benefits for myself, like for instance, just a few weeks ago, I was having some issues with my eyes, and it was just so easy to be able to message our doctor, in-house and say, hey, can you take a look at me? And then they were able to see me. So I feel like there's a lot of benefits for me being low vision and / blind, working here than I would get working anywhere else. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really great to be here.
Yeah.
Plus, we love you.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
And I love everybody, too. Everybody's been very accommodating, understanding, and I think it's really great.
Yeah. I think something that's necessary to understand is like the levels of nuance of like blind, low vision, that everything is really different for different people. Not everyone has the same kinds of low vision. And so tell us a little bit about what your level of vision is, or I don't know what the correct term would be there.
I wouldn't know either. I'm newly, I guess, low vision blindness. I've been. It started about 3 years ago, so I'm very kind of still new to everything. I can't see out of my left eye. There's nothing there. I can only see like some light perspection or however you say it. And then I have low vision in my right eye. I still see pretty well enough to drive and get around pretty well, that kind of thing. But it's just like very small details is when it gets kind of tricky for me.
Sure.
So yeah, that's kind of how I see the world, I guess, now.
And they're still trying to figure out what it is exactly that you have going on. So it's not a, cut and dried, here's my condition or whatever. They're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because we don't really know what's causing it. So my specialist says that it's hypertension retinopathy, and that's usually related to like high blood pressure or diabetes or something about an artery being clogged. And I don't have any of those things. And so we don't really know what's causing my condition. So they say I'm a special case. I'm like, I don't want to be special. Not in that way anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. Leigh, because you are a fully sighted person, I suppose, what have you learned in working with blind and low vision people?
Wow, I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning things every day too, because there's certain things that sighted people just take for granted that you don't even think about. And so it's been a really great education for me, just, different ways of looking at things or thinking about things. And especially like in enrichment where we're doing art, and making sure things are very sensory and just talking to people, because a lot of times often you'll make a motion, that if someone is blind or low vision, they may not be seeing you. And it's just like subtle things like social cues. If you're blind, you don't see a social cue. Yeah. And so it's just being really more aware, and just even something as simple as shaking someone's hand. Typically, in the blind community, you wait for someone to extend their hand to you. You don't automatically grab people because, number one, that's rude anyway. Sure. And so you talk to people, you ask questions and a lot of times don't just, and for me, like in the enrichment stuff, I want to get to know people and figure out what they like, what they don't like. Hey, we're going to Melissa can attest that we experiment. I say everyone's a guinea pig, like especially in art. We're going to try it just because we haven't done it before. And we're going to see like, hey, that was amazing. Or whoop, we don't need to do that again.
Yeah. It's fun though. Yeah. Experimenting the things.
Yeah. And it's just like, still, it doesn't matter whether you have vision or not. Art is good for everyone. And it's still important for us to experience it. Whether, even, some folks who have been blind since birth, who have no visual reference, it's still great for them to blend colors of clay or make certain things. I just make sure that I have examples and talk about the process, because it's still that sensory experience gets you out of your head and into your body. So you're not really thinking about not having vision or what you've lost. And I think that is a big thing to me. And maybe I'm saying too much or not enough. So
no, I agree. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. When being in the MOVE program, and you've seen, I really got into doing the clay stuff, and it's just so therapeutic, especially when you're going through a big change, a new change in your life that you don't really have control over. It's a great way to kind of escape that and just do whatever you want. Like that's something you have control over. And that's the way I looked at it. And that's why I got really attached to making like clay jewelry, earrings, necklaces and all that kind of stuff, little figurines. Like I love it. Yeah.
I always say that Melissa found her spirit animal.
Yeah. There you go.
Clay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's really great. I think you're doing great, Leigh.
Oh, thank you. And then that's the main thing too, is like just figuring out ways of modifying stuff, not dumbing it down, but just modifying it. So like, for those who do have some vision, using high contrast colors, or if we're painting, doing stuff where we Velcro things to the table so it's in the same place each time, so that everyone can have confidence that when they're doing it, and then adding texture to certain paint to create other things, but
Yeah.
And then same thing with like musical instruments, getting hand pans that are very tactile experience, and you don't have to have any prior knowledge, and it sounds really cool and ethereal, so things like that. And like I said, I definitely know enough to know I don't really know anything, but I am along for the ride and the journey of learning, and it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah. And you take a lot of suggestions too, whenever somebody has like an idea or, they want to try something new. Leigh's always up for being like, okay, we can do it. Let's try it,
Yeah.
So,
I'm a firm believer in that we should try anything and everything, and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of mention of community in this conversation. And so being sort of, as you said, like a newer to low vision, how have you felt being part of the community and being embraced by a community?
I think I feel like if I would not have found Newview, which I didn't find my job that I had at the time that I couldn't do anymore told me about Newview, and that's how I came here. But if I would not have had that contact about Newview, I would not be doing the things that I'm doing right, today. I'd probably be in a much darker place. I probably would be feeling like I'm in a corner, backed up in a corner. So being part of Newview and part of the community and just seeing like the amazing things that they're doing for the community, it brings me joy and like honor to be a part of that too. So I really do. I'm very grateful for Newview and being able to be here, So,
and then plus Melissa is playing beep baseball because,
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that if I was not
which
here.
Is so exciting.
So,
for those that don't know, what is beep baseball? I've had Mark describe it to me, and it just sounds so amazing and absurd and super fun.
Yeah. I feel like when I explain it, it sounds a little complicated, but I'm going to try. So
you got it.
So basically, the whole team are either blind or low vision, and we play blindfolded to just kind of keep it even, and then when we bat blindfolded, and the ball beeps so we could hear it. And then there's two bases, first and third, that have like dummies type of thing that also beep. So when you hit the ball, one of the bases go off and you have to run blindfolded to the sound. And then if you get there before the other team finds the ball, then you get a run, which is a point. It is very intense,
It's impressive to watch, actually.
It's very intense. It could get very competitive too. But it is fun. It is fun. And I do like it. I enjoy it. I've never played a sport in my life at all. I was always the cheerleader on the sideline. And so doing this was my first ever playing a game, playing a sport, all that stuff. And I really do enjoy it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. It is super interesting how the ways that even though maybe it might feel like one side of life is maybe going away, you're experiencing a whole new level, a new community. You're doing sports even though you never used to.
Right.
And so it's really interesting that like the perspectives can really change just because like, for fully able-bodied people to frame their lives in this way of like, oh, I don't know if I could ever. And it's like, it's really a very amazing experience regardless. Like this whole life thing is really, really neat regardless of what we're able to do.
Right.
We're able to do a lot more than we think.
Yeah. And I try to always stay positive about what's happening with me. And of course, there's going to be those moments where, it sinks in and you're like, oh man, this is my life now. But I always try to stay positive and I try not to let it hold me back from still living and, doing things. So we'll see how the future.
Yeah.
what happens in the future.
Well, because and the great thing too is that you try stuff. You hadn't ever played a sport before, but you're like, hey man, I'll go out for beat baseball, and you've been good at it and had fun, and and trying different things, and that's also key right there too in your own personal well-being and mental health is just trying new things and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, that's true,
and that's a big deal.
Yeah. And even on those dark days where you feel really weighed down by the fear of all of what's going on, you still have a great community around you to help get you through it, because a lot of these people have been going through the same thing that you have.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's really great about Newview is now we have the community group, which is another outlet for people like myself to be able to join and be around other people that experience what I probably experienced and just talk about it, release it, know that you're not alone. And I haven't been coming to them, but this next one that we have scheduled, which is on
next
the
week,
11th.
Tuesday, yeah.
I'll be coming to that one.
That's great.
Yeah, I'll be coming. I really, really do need it right now.
Yeah.
And so, it's great to know that there's that option out there as well. So
amazing. Well, Leigh, Melissa, thank you both so much for being here on Breaking Ice, Building Bridges.
Yes,
thank you for having us.
And we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Connecting a community through conversation.
Breaking Ice, Building Bridges is the Possibilities community podcast platform. Thanks for tuning in.